What if the person you're meant to marry is already in your life? What if Allah already sent them, but you were too distracted to see? Sometimes the one written for you keeps reappearing in the most unexpected ways. They're there when you're broken, and somehow you feel peace around them. But instead of recognizing the sign, you called it a coincidence. Today, we'll uncover the signs that Allah may have already shown you, but you missed. Have you ever wondered why, out of billions of people, your heart feels drawn to just one? In Islam, we believe that nothing happens by accident. Every soul, every meeting, every connection has already been written by Allah, including the one person you're destined to marry. Before you were even born, your name was written beside theirs. This isn't just a romantic idea. It's rooted in the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who said, "Souls are like recruited soldiers. Those that recognize one another will come together." This means your soul may already recognize the person you're meant to be with, even if you haven't realized it yet. Allah created us in pairs. In Surah An-Najm, He says, "And that He creates the pairs, male and female." This isn't just about biology, it's about purpose. Every human heart seeks companionship, and Islam honors that search by making marriage not only permissible, but sacred. Your soulmate isn't just someone you're attracted to. In Islam, they are your partner in deen, someone who helps you grow closer to Allah, someone who reminds you of Jannah when the world gets heavy, someone who stands beside you, not just in this life, but prays to meet you again in the next. The concept of a soulmate in Islam isn't about fairy tales or fantasies. It's about qadr, divine destiny. There's a beautiful narration that says, "No soul will die until it receives its full provision and completes its appointed time." This includes your risk, your lifespan, and yes, your spouse. This means the one you are meant to be with has already been chosen by Allah. You will not leave this world until you meet them. So if you haven't found them yet, don't lose hope. And if someone keeps reappearing in your life, making your heart feel calm and pushing you toward Allah, maybe it's not random at all. Because in Islam, nothing is random. Sometimes we keep asking Allah for a sign, when in reality, He's already shown us. He may bring someone into your life slowly, gently, not with loud declarations, but with quiet consistency. Not with sudden fireworks, but with silent peace. But here's the real challenge. Are you spiritually awake enough to recognize it? Many people miss the person Allah wrote for them, not because they weren't there, but because they were too distracted by unrealistic expectations, temporary attractions, or worldly standards that had nothing to do with deen. We live in a time where love is romanticized and overcomplicated. But in Islam, the most powerful kind of love is the one that is simple, sincere, and rooted in faith. The one who sees your flaws but reminds you of Allah. The one who doesn't complete you but helps you complete half of your deen. So before we move forward to the signs that you may have already met your soulmate, pause and reflect. Do you truly believe in divine timing? Do you trust that Allah knows the perfect moment to bring your hearts together? Because when you do, you'll stop chasing and start preparing. And when the time comes, you won't just meet them, you'll recognize them. Sometimes Allah shows you the person you're meant to be with long before you realize who they are. The connection might not be obvious at first. You may cross paths with them in a casual moment, unaware that it's the beginning of something written before time itself. But there are signs, subtle, emotional, and spiritual, that this person is not just another stranger. One of the clearest signs is when someone keeps reappearing in your life without explanation. You lose touch, then randomly meet again. You move on, but they come back around. No matter how much distance or time comes between you, Allah finds a way to bring them close again. And it's not always in a romantic setting. Sometimes it's a group gathering, a class, a friend's wedding, places you least expect. But their presence lingers, as if the universe is gently nudging you to pay attention. These reappearances are not coincidences. They are divine reminders. Another sign is the peace you feel around them. It's not butterflies or nervous excitement. It's calm. A feeling that you can breathe, be yourself, and not feel judged. You may not talk much, but even the silence between you feels safe. That peace is a gift from Allah. The heart recognizes when it's near something that fits it. And when you're near the person Allah chose for you, your soul feels at ease without needing a reason. It's not about surface level attraction. It's about feeling spiritually settled. You'll also notice that they encourage your connection with Allah, even without trying. Maybe they share a reminder. Maybe their words make you think deeper about your own life. Maybe just seeing how they live makes you want to be better. You don't feel pulled towards sin. You feel pulled towards sincerity. That's one of the most powerful signs. When someone doesn't distract you from your purpose, but actually helps you walk toward it, they're not just someone special. They're someone sent. There's also a sense of familiarity that's hard to describe. When you speak, it feels like you've known them longer than you have. There's comfort in the way they understand your thoughts, your struggles, even your silence. You don't have to perform or impress. You feel accepted. And even if you've only shared a few moments, those moments carry deep meaning. It feels like you've met before, in this life, or perhaps another. Islam teaches that the souls of believers were gathered before creation. Maybe yours already knew theirs. Then there's the way Allah keeps placing their name in front of you, not just physically, but in thoughts, dreams, or random mentions. You ask Allah for a sign, and their name echoes in unexpected places. A post, a conversation, a memory. Something small reminds you of them again. And it's consistent. It doesn't fade. Even when you try to forget or move on, something keeps bringing them back into your thoughts. That persistence isn't your imagination. It may be your soul recognizing what your eyes haven't. These signs aren't proof on their own, but together they speak a language your heart understands. They pull you towards something deeper than attraction, toward a connection rooted in destiny. If you've ever felt these things for someone, pause, reflect. Ask yourself, is this person just a passing chapter? Or were they sent as a sign? Because if Allah wants two souls to meet, no force on earth can stop it. And if you've already met your soulmate, the question is no longer when. It's, will you recognize them before it's too late? It's a painful thought, but one that many of us need to face. What if the person Allah had written for you already came into your life? And what if you didn't recognize them? You see, we often ask Allah for a sign, but we forget that signs require eyes that are spiritually open. Sometimes the person meant for you shows up in the most unexpected way, at the most inconvenient time, and in a form you weren't looking for. But because they didn't match your idea of perfect, you looked the other way. One of the biggest reasons we miss our soulmate is because we're too distracted by worldly definitions of love and success. We chase after surface level attraction, status, wealth, beauty, or popularity, thinking that these things define a good match. And in that chase, we overlook the person who brought peace, sincerity, and quiet strength. You might have friend-zoned them, ignored them, or thought, they're nice, but not my type. But your type isn't what leads to lasting love. Taqwa is. Character is. Connection with Allah is. And sometimes we're so caught up in our own plans that we forget Allah's plan is already unfolding right in front of us. Another reason we miss them is because of our own inner wounds. Maybe you were too hurt from the past. Maybe you were still healing from a heartbreak and you couldn't see clearly. Your heart was guarded, your trust was broken, and so when someone sincere came along, you pushed them away. Not because they were wrong, but because you were still carrying the pain of someone else's wrong. We ask Allah to send us someone good, but sometimes we're not ready to receive them. We think we're prepared for love, but we're still stuck in fear, doubt, or confusion. And when the right person shows up, they don't fix you, they mirror you. They reflect your insecurities, and instead of leaning into that growth, we run. That fear causes us to miss what was actually a gift. Then there's the pressure from society and family. Expectations about how love should look, when it should happen, what culture it must fit into. You may have met someone who felt right, who brought calm to your chaos, who brought light to your heart. But others told you they weren't good enough. Different background, different language, different financial level. And you listened. You walked away from what felt like home because the world convinced you it was wrong. But remember, people judge based on what they see. Allah judges based on what He knows. And only He knows what your heart truly needs. Some people also miss their soulmate because they were chasing perfection, waiting for someone who ticks every box. Someone who's religious, good-looking, successful, emotionally mature, funny, kind, respectful, and completely in sync with your life. And while aiming high is not wrong, expecting perfection is. Because the right person won't be perfect. They'll be perfect for you. They'll have flaws. They'll make mistakes. But they'll be willing to grow with you, walk with you, lead you back to Allah when you're lost. And sadly, some people miss their soulmate simply because they didn't make dua. They relied on their own efforts, their own logic, their own timelines, and forgot to ask the one who already knows the outcome. They didn't do istikhara. They didn't seek guidance. They were looking for signs from the world, but not asking for signs from their Lord. Maybe that's why the connection faded. Maybe that's why things didn't work out. But here's the beauty of divine love. What is written for you never truly misses you. Even if you didn't recognize them the first time, even if you walked away, even if you let fear or pride get in the way, if Allah has written their name next to yours, He can bring them back in a way that reminds you. This was always meant to be. So if you think you've missed someone who felt right, don't despair. Instead of holding on to regret, return to Allah. Ask Him for clarity. Ask Him to reopen what was good for you, or protect you from it if it truly wasn't. And most of all, ask Him to help you never miss again what He sends for your heart. Because when He sends the right one, you don't need to chase them. You just need to be ready to recognize them. When Allah sends the right person into your life, He often doesn't do it with fireworks or grand announcements. He sends them quietly, humbly, wrapped in sincerity. And if your heart is not tuned to the right frequency, you might overlook them again. But when your heart is ready, you'll recognize something different about this person. It's not in how they dress or speak, it's in how your soul reacts to their presence. You'll feel calm, you'll feel safe. There will be no pressure, no games, no confusion, just clarity. You won't need to chase them. They'll show up, consistently, in silence and in effort. There'll be someone who respects your boundaries, who honors your values, who speaks about the future with sincerity, not vague promises. They'll remind you of your purpose and not distract you from it. Their presence won't feel like noise. It'll feel like a prayer being answered. So how do you act when you recognize them? First, turn to Allah. Make dua, not just for the person, but for the wisdom to handle it right. Ask Allah, if this is good for my dunya and akhirah, bring us together with barakah. And ask Him to remove it gently if it isn't. Your heart may be excited, but Allah sees what your eyes cannot. Second, approach it with intention. Don't let shaitan ruin what Allah is trying to bless. If you truly believe this person is right for you, honor the process. Get your family involved. Be transparent. Keep the relationship halal. Because anything that starts with Allah stays protected by Allah. Third, don't delay out of fear. Sometimes the right person comes at the wrong time and we freeze. We tell ourselves we're not ready, we need more time, or we fear rejection. But when Allah sends someone, He also opens the doors to make it possible. Trust His timing more than your own hesitation. Fourth, communicate. Real love isn't just about emotions, it's about honesty, clarity, and shared values. Speak openly about your deen, your dreams, your boundaries, and your fears. The one Allah sends for you won't run from your truth. They'll meet you in it with understanding. And finally, stay grateful. Many people beg Allah for signs, and when they come, they doubt. Don't let doubt steal what your du'as brought. Recognizing the right one is not about being 100% sure in your mind. It's about being at peace in your heart. When Allah sends the right one, it won't be perfect, but it will be pure. It won't be flashy, but it will be full of faith. So act with courage, walk with taqwa, and trust that what Allah writes can never be taken away. Sometimes the wait feels endless. You make dua, you search, you wonder, and still, no answer, no clear sign, no certainty. But remember this, just because you haven't met them yet, or you didn't recognize them the first time, doesn't mean Allah has forgotten you. His delay is never denial. His silence is never absence. It's preparation. Allah is preparing you, preparing them, preparing the moment when both hearts are ready. Not just for love, but for a love that leads to Him. So if you're still waiting, don't let hopelessness creep in. Let hope grow instead. Let your iman deepen, because what's written for you is making its way towards you, slowly, perfectly, in Allah's perfect time. And if you think you've already met that person, pause, reflect. Maybe you weren't ready then. Maybe they weren't. But if it's truly written, Allah can reconnect what was separated and rewrite what you thought was over. The truth is, Allah doesn't just write love stories. He writes soul stories. Stories where two people don't just come together for happiness. They come together for Jannah. So while you wait, or wonder, or walk away from what wasn't right, trust this, your soulmate isn't missing. They're being prepared, just like you. And one day, when Allah decides, your paths will cross again. And this time, you'll recognize them. Before you go, if this video touched your heart, helped you reflect, or made you think of someone special, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because here, we talk about love. Not just any love, but the kind that leads to Allah. New videos every day, real reminders, deep reflections, and who knows, maybe the next one will be the sign you've been waiting for. Click that subscribe button now, and walk this journey with us. Your soulmate may be closer than you think. You've been waiting. You've cried in sujood, made endless du'as. You've asked, when will it be my turn, Ya Allah? And still, silence. But what if Allah hasn't forgotten you? What if He's still writing your love story, but your soulmate's chapter isn't finished yet? What if He's still growing, still healing, still becoming the man you prayed for? So don't lose hope. Allah's not done yet. You pray, you hope, you wait, and still, nothing happens. No sign, no message, no proposal. You see others getting married, smiling in wedding photos, posting captions like, Alhamdulillah, I found the one. And your heart silently breaks a little more each time. You wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why does it feel like Allah is giving to everyone except me? There are days when you feel strong, full of faith. You tell yourself, my time will come. Allah is saving something special for me. But then there are nights when your pillow absorbs silent tears, when your heart whispers, maybe, I'm not meant to be chosen. This pain is unlike any other, because it's not just about love. It's about worth, about feeling seen, about being chosen, about knowing that you matter to someone beyond just your du'as. You've tried everything. You've dressed modestly. You've worked on your character. You've stayed away from haram. You've made dua after every salah, yet no response. And worst of all, the silence, the waiting, the uncertainty. That's the part that drains you, because waiting without knowing why is one of the hardest trials a soul can face. You see your friends get introduced to someone, you hear of people who weren't even looking, and they found their person, and you start wondering, what am I missing that they have? The whispers of doubt creep in. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you'll be alone forever. Maybe Allah is punishing you. But let me tell you something, none of that is true. Your pain is not a punishment. Your delay is not a rejection. Your loneliness is not a sign that Allah has forgotten you. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to question. It's okay to admit, Ya Allah, I'm struggling with this test. You're human. And being human means feeling deeply. But the beauty is, you're still holding on. You're still making dua, even with trembling hands. You're still praying, even when your heart feels empty. That is strength. That is faith. That is love for Allah that even angels admire. This pain you feel right now, it won't last forever. Every tear you've cried has been recorded. Every dua you've made has been heard. And every moment of patience has been noted by the one who sees your heart clearer than you ever could. So if you're hurting right now, know this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. And you are not alone. Because the one who created you knows exactly how to heal you. And he knows exactly when to send someone who deserves your heart. Keep waiting, but don't lose hope. Because Allah is still writing your love story. And trust me, it's going to be worth it. What if I told you, this delay isn't because something is wrong with you? What if it's not about your looks, your past, your choices, or your worth? Because we often assume, I'm still single because I'm not good enough, because I must be lacking something. But sometimes, it has nothing to do with you at all. Sometimes, the delay exists because he is not ready. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally, not yet. He may be out there, alive, breathing, walking this earth. But right now, he might still be lost. Maybe his heart hasn't turned to Allah yet. Maybe he's still chasing the dunya. Maybe he's going through pain you can't see, lessons you haven't lived, or battles you were never meant to fight alongside him. And Allah, in his perfect wisdom, is holding him back from reaching you until he becomes the man you made dua for. That's the mercy of Allah, because he doesn't want to hand you a half-built man with a shattered soul. He wants to deliver someone healed, someone guided, someone who knows how to love with iman, not just emotion. And if Allah gave him to you now, you might experience heartbreak instead of barakah, confusion instead of peace, a test instead of a gift. So yes, maybe you're ready, but Allah is still preparing him. He's putting him through spiritual training. He's teaching him how to lead, how to protect, how to love like a believer. And all of this is happening out of sight, which makes it hard to trust. But that's where your faith is tested the most, in the unseen. You see, when your heart is pure and your intentions are sincere, Allah doesn't ignore you. He protects you, even from people you don't know yet. So stop blaming yourself for the delay. Stop measuring your worth based on timelines and proposals. Your value was written by Allah before anyone could validate it. This isn't punishment. It's preparation, not for you, but for him. And one day, when he finally arrives, when he's learned his lessons, when his heart has softened, when his soul has matured through life's storms, you'll look back and say, now I understand the weight. Because you didn't just want someone to marry. You wanted someone who prays with you, grows with you, and leads you to Jannah. And that kind of man, he doesn't appear overnight. He's built through delay, through difficulty, through divine timing. So no, the delay isn't about you. It's about the beautiful soul that Allah is still shaping for you. We live in a world of instant results, instant noodles, instant messages, instant answers. And so, we start expecting instant qadr from Allah too. But that's not how He works. Allah isn't bound by our clocks. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. And His wisdom requires process, not pressure. You've been waiting for love, for marriage, for that one person, and every day feels like a delay. But in Allah's book, nothing is delayed. Everything is perfectly on time. Look at the prophets. Yusuf, peace be upon him, was thrown into a well, sold into slavery, falsely imprisoned. Years of hardship, years of silence. And yet, those very trials shaped him into a man of strength, leadership, and unshakable faith. It was that prison that led him to the palace, but it didn't happen overnight. Musa, peace be upon him, fled from Egypt in fear. He spent 10 years in exile as a shepherd before Allah called him to prophethood. 10 years. Not because he wasn't chosen, but because he was being prepared. And what about Maryam? Peace be upon her. She isolated herself, misunderstood by her people. She endured judgment, pain, and loneliness, so Allah could honor her in the Qur'an forever. Allah's process is never rushed, because rushed growth is fragile growth. But slow growth, that's what builds roots. Maybe right now, your love story is still growing roots underground, invisible to you, but essential for strength. Allah is not just preparing your spouse, He's preparing you too. Because sometimes it's not that the person isn't ready, it's that the relationship isn't strong enough yet. The timing isn't right. The circumstances aren't aligned. And Allah wants to send you not just a person, but a relationship with barakah in it. Barakah needs time. Barakah needs tests. Barakah needs surrender. You see, we often think we're waiting on a proposal, but sometimes Allah is waiting on our hearts to soften, to fully trust Him, to rely on Him more than we rely on the right person. Because if you rush the process, you'll ruin the purpose. And Allah never rushes what He values. Think about it. Diamonds are made under pressure, over time, not in a moment, but in a journey. And right now, you might feel like you're being crushed by delay. But Allah is making something rare out of you. So don't compare your timeline to someone else's. Don't envy their fast love stories, because you don't know what Allah is protecting you from. You don't know the du'as He's answering behind the scenes. And you definitely don't know the beauty He's still writing for you. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's lonely. And yes, sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. But remember, Allah creates masterpieces in silence. Mountains take years to form. Trees take years to bear fruit. And some hearts need time to become home. So if it's taking long, don't lose faith. Gain perspective. Because when it finally happens, you'll realize the wait wasn't empty. It was sacred. It was necessary. It was love, in progress. And that, my friend, is the beauty of Allah's process. Sometimes Allah delays a person's arrival in your life, not because He's rejecting your dua, but because the one meant for you is still in process. And the signs? They're subtle. But if you look closely with your heart, not just your eyes, you'll start to see them. Sign number 1. He's being pulled away from distractions. He used to be caught in the dunya, running after material success, chasing superficial love, distracted by noise. But now, life is slowing him down. He's losing interest in things that once defined him. That's not failure, that's refinement. Because when Allah wants to guide someone, He first removes the distractions, so they can finally hear the silence where His voice echoes clearest. Sign number 2. Life is testing him. He might be going through a storm, loss, failure, heartbreak, confusion, and from the outside, it may seem like his life is falling apart. But in reality, it's falling into place, because trials build character. And Allah is teaching him patience, leadership, and humility, so that when he leads a home tomorrow, he does it with wisdom, not ego. Sign number 3, he's asking the bigger questions. He's no longer content with surface level living. He's searching, he's questioning. Why am I here? What does Allah want from me? What kind of man do I want to become? Those questions may sound simple, but they're a sign that his soul is awakening, because before a man can love you right, he must first submit to Allah right. Sign number 4, he's being isolated. Friends are fading, circles are shrinking, and he feels like no one understands him. But solitude is sacred. It's where prophets were formed. It's where hearts are purified. Maybe Allah is removing the noise. So this man can finally become the kind of man who listens to silence and hears the truth. Sign number 5. He's being protected from you, for now. Yes, this might hurt to hear, but sometimes Allah is holding him back from you because he doesn't want your paths to cross until it's the right time. Not too early, not too soon. Because if you met him before his growth, you might reject him. And if he met you before yours, he might not recognize your value. So Allah keeps you apart until your hearts are aligned with him, before each other. That's not delay. That's divine design. So if you're still waiting, don't just ask, where is he? Ask, what might Allah be doing in him that I can't see yet? Because the one meant for you may not be ready yet, but he's becoming. And when Allah is done with him, you won't just find a man. You'll find a mirror of your own growth, a reflection of your own patience, and a love story written in sujood. You're not just waiting for him. You're also being watched by Allah during this wait. Because this isn't a pause in your story. This is the part where you rise. Too often, we think, I'll become better after marriage. I'll be more religious when I have someone by my side. But what if Allah is asking you to become that version before he even arrives? Because your soulmate isn't your savior, and your growth shouldn't depend on someone else's arrival. So what do you do while you wait? Build your connection with Allah. This isn't a filler phase, it's your foundation. Every dua, every sajda, every tear. It's not just preparing you for him, it's preparing you for Jannah. Heal your heart. Let go of past wounds, unrealistic expectations, and emotional blocks, so that when love enters, it finds a heart that's whole, not one still bleeding. Become what you're praying for. If you want someone patient, be patient. If you want someone loyal, be loyal to Allah first. Your du'as are powerful, but your actions are part of the answer. Stop stalking his arrival. You don't need to obsess over timelines, signs, or who just got engaged. You're not late. You're being protected. Stay in your lane and beautify it. Stay in service. One of the best ways to stay emotionally alive is to serve others. Help someone. Listen to someone. Support someone. The more you give, the more your heart expands. Because here's the truth. The wait isn't empty. It's active obedience. It's silent preparation. And most importantly, it's a chance for you to fall in love with Allah first, so that when someone comes to love you, they find you already filled with purpose, faith, and light. You're not just waiting for a person. You're becoming one worth waiting for. You won't have to chase. You won't have to beg. You won't have to convince anyone of your worth. When the time is right, he'll come. Not a moment early, not a second late. Just exactly when Allah knows your heart and his is finally ready. And you'll look back and realize all those unanswered du'as were never ignored. They were being gathered, layered, perfected, so that when they arrived, they weren't just good, they were divinely timed. You'll understand why certain people didn't stay. Why some almost love stories broke your heart. Why Allah pulled you away from what you thought was the one. Because if they had stayed, you would have settled. You would have stopped growing. You would have missed out on someone who wasn't just halal, but written. The right one won't confuse you. He'll bring clarity, not chaos. Peace, not pressure. Growth, not games. And most importantly, he'll love you in a way that pulls you closer to Allah, not further. So don't let the silence scare you. Don't let the delay make you doubt. Allah hasn't forgotten you. He's just preparing something worth the wait. And when it finally happens, you won't just thank Allah for what he gave. You'll thank him for every delay, every lonely night, every tear. Because all of it was leading you to this. He's coming, but only when Allah says, now. So if you're still waiting, still wondering, still whispering your du'as at night, know this. Allah hears you, even when the world is silent, even when your heart is tired, even when you feel like your story is standing still. Allah is still writing. And the author of your love story writes with mercy. He writes with wisdom. He writes with timing that's more perfect than you could ever imagine. Don't rush what Allah is still shaping. Don't compare your journey with someone else's chapter. And don't let loneliness make you settle for less than what He wrote for you. The one meant for you? He's not lost. He's not late. He's just in Allah's workshop, being prepared, molded, and tested, just like you. And when you both are finally ready, not perfect, but spiritually aligned, Allah will bring you together in a way that feels effortless, peaceful, and right. Until then, keep becoming, keep healing, keep trusting. Your love story doesn't begin the day you meet Him. It's already begun with every dua, every sajda, every tear. And one day soon, you'll smile through your tears and say, Ya Allah, now I understand why you made me wait. If this touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more reminders like this, because maybe the next one will be the sign you've been praying for. And share this with someone who's still waiting, so they too can feel hope again. Allah hasn't forgotten you. He's just saving the best for the perfect time. What if the reason you're still single is because Allah is protecting you from the wrong one? What if the man you're waiting for is being shaped by Allah right now? You think you're being delayed, but Allah is simply perfecting the timing. He's not late, He's just not ready. And maybe you're not fully ready yet either. Allah is writing a love story that's bigger than you imagined. But every beautiful story needs patience between the pages. So stop worrying, because when Allah is involved, the ending is always worth the wait. You've been waiting for months, maybe years. You've made dua with tears rolling down your cheeks, whispered prayers into your pillow at night, asking Allah for one thing. Ya Allah, send me someone who will love me for your sake. But still, silence. No answer. No proposal. No clarity. And now, doubt begins to whisper. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe Allah isn't listening. Maybe marriage just isn't written for you. Stop right there. Because this is where many hearts break. Not because of the delay itself, but because of what we assume about the delay. You see, in our impatience, we often mistake divine preparation for divine rejection. But in reality, Allah is never saying no. He's saying not yet. Or even better, something better is coming. Think about it. When you plant a seed, does it bloom the next morning? Number. It takes time. The roots have to grow. The soil has to nourish it. The sun has to shine. And only then does it bloom. So why do we expect the most important relationships in our lives to just appear overnight? Allah knows what kind of man your heart truly needs. Not the one your eyes are impressed by, but the one who will lead you to Jannah. And maybe, just maybe, that man is still learning to pray on time. Maybe he's still breaking free from sins. Maybe Allah is guiding him right now through hardship. So when he meets you, he values you, protects you, honors you. And let's not forget, maybe you are being prepared too. Maybe you still need to heal from your past. Maybe you still need to strengthen your connection with Allah. Maybe you're learning how to love yourself in the right way before someone else can love you in a halal way. What feels like a delay is actually a divine design, because Allah doesn't just give love, He gives it at the perfect moment, when both hearts are ready, when both souls are aligned, and when both of you are closer to Him. So the next time you feel forgotten, remember, you are being refined, not rejected. The wait isn't a punishment, it's protection, it's mercy, it's love from the one who knows what's best, even when you don't understand it yet. Trust that when Allah makes you wait, He's not delaying your happiness, He's deepening it. And when it finally comes, you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, the wait was so worth it. You didn't ask Allah for an ordinary man. You asked for a righteous one, a man who fears Allah in private and public, a man who will lower his gaze, raise his hands in dua, and guide your family with taqwa. But let's pause and be honest. Do you think such a man is created overnight? A man like that doesn't just appear. He's forged through struggle, through heartbreak, through sincere repentance, and through late nights when no one sees him but Allah. You see, while you're waiting, he's being transformed. Maybe right now, he's still healing from a past that would have hurt you. Maybe he's learning to control his anger, to be soft with his words, to carry the weight of responsibility on his shoulders with the strength of a believer and the heart of a servant. Because a righteous husband isn't just a man, he's a leader. And a true leader doesn't just pay bills. He protects your dignity. He prays beside you. He lifts your spirit when life gets heavy. He reminds you of Jannah when the world gets dark. And that kind of man? Allah doesn't rush his process. Allah doesn't send you someone halfway ready just to satisfy your timeline. He sends someone when he's fully prepared to carry your trust, your dreams, your future children. So maybe your delay is not about you being behind. Maybe it's about Allah holding back the door until the man behind it is strong enough to walk through it. This is not just a husband you're waiting for. It's the Imam of your home, the man who will recite Qur'an while your children fall asleep, the one who will wipe your tears with patience, not ego, the one who will fight for your peace, not cause your pain. And isn't that what you truly want? Because anyone can buy you flowers, but not every man can water your soul. Anyone can promise forever, but not every man can guide you through this life to the next. So if Allah is making you wait, it's because He is preparing someone worthy of the du'as you cried so hard to make. And when He comes, you won't need to chase, beg, or convince, because Allah will send him with clarity, with peace, with the kind of love that feels like a prayer being answered, not a test being survived. Until then, keep preparing yourself too, because leaders are not sent to those who aren't ready to be led. And you too are being shaped for something greater. So be patient, not because it's easy, but because you trust that Allah is crafting a man who will hold your hand in this world and never let go in the next. Let's talk about the silence, that space between heartbreak and hope. The nights when your bed feels heavier than your soul. The moments when everyone is laughing, celebrating love, planning weddings, and you're just waiting, alone. It hurts, doesn't it? But here's a truth your heart needs to hear today. This loneliness is not pointless. It's not empty. It's not random. It's divine training. Because your soul is not being punished. It's being prepared. You see, when you ask Allah for something great, He doesn't just hand it to you wrapped in gold. He builds you for it. He strengthens you from the inside out. And sometimes, that starts with loneliness. Yes, loneliness can feel like a prison. But in Allah's mercy, it's actually a classroom. It's where you discover that the love you're missing from someone else can only truly be fulfilled by the one who created love in the first place. Think about it. How many times did your heart get broken chasing love that was never meant for you? How many nights did you cry over people who didn't value your worth? And now, Allah has pulled you away from them all. Why? To pull you closer to Him. Because when everyone else walks away, that's when Allah trains your soul to walk toward Him. Step by step, tear by tear, dua by dua. And the more you turn to Him in this loneliness, the more He strengthens your heart for the love story He's writing behind the scenes. Don't you see? The silence isn't rejection. It's sacred space. The loneliness is not abandonment. It's alignment. You're being aligned with your purpose. You're being taught how to rely only on your Lord, so that when your future spouse does arrive, you don't cling to them for identity. You don't depend on them to fix your brokenness. You meet them whole, because you found wholeness in your Creator first. That is the purpose of this loneliness. It's to teach you that your heart was never designed to be filled by people. It was designed to be filled with dhikr, with Qur'an, with sujood at 2 a.m. when no one sees you but Allah. That's where real strength is born. You may feel like you're doing life alone right now, but you are not alone in Allah's eyes. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not left behind. You are simply in training. Training for patience. Training for trust. Training for a love story rooted in tawakkul, not desperation. And when Allah sees that your soul has matured, that you've bloomed in His light, that you've surrendered your timeline to His wisdom, He will bring someone into your life, not to complete you, but to complement the beautiful soul you've become. So don't rush this season. Don't resent your loneliness. Don't numb it, escape it, or fill it with temporary distractions. Sit with it, learn from it, grow in it, because some of the most beautiful flowers only bloom in solitude. And the truth is, if you can be content in your loneliness with Allah by your side, then you're already stronger than you think. You've already passed the test most people fail. The one who can survive loneliness with faith is the one most ready for companionship built on faith. So yes, this season is hard, but it's not meaningless. This loneliness is your soul's gym, and every tear you cry in sujood, every time you resist temptation, every moment you choose sabr over desperation, is a sign that you're being shaped for something beautiful. And when that moment finally arrives, when Allah brings the right one to your door, you'll realize this loneliness wasn't wasted. It was sacred. It was necessary. It was training for your soul. And your soul? Now it's ready to love the right way. Let's face it, waiting can feel like the hardest part of life, especially when you're waiting for something your heart aches for: a righteous spouse, a halal love, a partner who feels like home. But here's the truth. The wait isn't wasted. It's a test. And what you do while you wait reveals more about you than anything else. Because waiting doesn't mean sitting in sadness, scrolling through endless weddings on social media, or crying over timelines that haven't matched yours. Waiting in Islam is active, not passive. It's about building yourself, purifying your heart, rising in worship. It's the time to become the very person you're asking Allah to send you. You want someone who prays on time? Start praying every salah like it's a meeting with your king. You want someone who will honor your heart? Start healing your own wounds with the mercy of Allah. You want someone who speaks gently, leads with character, lives with taqwa? Then ask yourself, am I becoming that kind of person too? Because the truth is, we attract what we reflect. And Allah, in His perfect justice, doesn't just give you what you want. He gives you what you're ready for. So maybe the wait is here, not to frustrate you, but to upgrade you. Maybe this is the chapter where you fall in love with the Qur'an, where you build your connection with your Lord so deeply that when someone walks into your life, they're only adding to a heart already full, not trying to fix one that's empty. This is your training ground, your preparation season, and every day you choose growth instead of grief, worship over worry, and faith over fear. You are investing in your future marriage, because what you do in private, who you become in silence, that's what shapes the love story you're going to live in public. Don't underestimate the power of this time. Some of the most powerful transformations happen in the waiting. So don't just wait, prepare. Don't just wish, work. Don't just hope for someone great. Becoming someone great is part of the prayer being answered. Allah sees the effort. He sees the quiet nights, the hidden tears, the deep du'as, and He's not ignoring you. He's aligning things for you in ways you can't yet see. So if you're in your waiting season, hold your head high, not because everything is figured out, but because you know who's writing your story. And when the time comes, you'll look back and thank Allah, not just for the arrival, but for everything He taught you while you waited. You might not see Him. You haven't met Him yet. There's no text, no proposal, no wedding date on the calendar. But deep in your soul, you feel something shifting. That's not imagination. That's not just hope. That's spiritual alignment. Because in this world, not everything that's getting closer makes noise. Some things are moving in silence, under Allah's command, at Allah's perfect pace. And the man you've been praying for? He might be getting closer, not in footsteps, but in faith. Maybe right now, He's finally learning to surrender his ego. Maybe he's in sujood, asking Allah to make him worthy of you. Maybe he's purifying his income, walking away from haram, turning toward the deen, one sincere intention at a time. You won't see these things, but Allah does, and He's the one bringing hearts together, long before they meet in person. So how do you know He's getting closer? When you start changing. When your heart detaches from things that once distracted you. When your focus shifts from, why am I still alone? To, how can I serve Allah more today? That's a sign. When you stop begging Allah for someone to save you and start asking Allah to guide you. That's a sign. When you find peace in your solitude, barakah in your efforts, and no longer feel the need to chase temporary love. That's a sign. Why? Because as your heart aligns with your purpose, His is aligning too. That's how Allah works. He moves two souls separately until they're ready to meet with Iman, not just emotions. So don't wait for a DM to feel hope. Don't wait for a proposal to feel worthy. Don't think silence means delay. Because while the world stays silent, your du'as are shaking the heavens. And maybe right now, somewhere in this world, He's feeling the same pull you are. The same desire to be better, to be pure, to be ready. You'll never see the moment His heart softens for Allah. But trust, it's happening. Just like rain gathers in the clouds long before it falls. Your future is forming in ways the eye can't see, but the soul can feel. And one day, you'll look back and realize, you didn't just wait for love. You grew toward it. You prepared for it. And every silent sign along the way was proof that Allah was guiding two hearts to meet at the perfect time. You've cried, you've prayed, you've waited. And maybe deep down, you still wonder, when? But here's the truth your heart needs to hold on to forever. Allah is never late. Not with your risk, not with your healing, and certainly not with your love story. Every delay you faced was a divine protection. Every closed door was Allah whispering, not this one, my servant. I'm saving you for better. Because Allah doesn't just give you what you want. He gives you what your soul truly needs. And He gives it at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. The wait wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It was the space you needed to grow, to trust, to let go of what wasn't written for you, and open your heart to what was. When Allah writes your story, there are no plot holes, no mistakes, no wrong timings. You're not missing out. You're being aligned. Maybe you don't see the full picture yet, but behind the silence is a master plan. A love story written by the one who created love itself. And when that moment finally comes, when your soul meets the one Allah was preparing for you all along, you'll look back and smile. You'll thank Allah for every tear, every delay, every no that protected your heart so it could say yes to the one that was always meant for you. So keep praying, keep preparing, keep trusting, because the one who sees your pain also sees your future, and His timing is never too early, never too late, always perfect. If this message touched your heart, if you're ready to keep walking this journey with faith, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Your next reminder might be the one that changes your life. Because here, we don't just talk about love. We talk about Allah's love first. And that's the foundation of everything worth waiting for. Have you ever sat alone, wondering if you'll ever meet the one Allah has written for you? You pray, you cry, and still silence. But what if I told you He's already written? What if Allah already chose His name for you before you were even born? You're not forgotten. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. Because when Allah writes a love story, it's always worth the wait. We live in a world that celebrates speed, fast answers, fast success, fast love. But Allah doesn't work on our timeline. His plan unfolds in ways we can't always understand, and His delays are never without wisdom. Sometimes you pray for something with all your heart. You beg Allah day and night for a sign, a person, a future. But instead of an answer, you're met with silence. You start to wonder, is Allah even listening? Has He forgotten me? But the truth is, Allah never forgets. Not a single tear you've cried, not a single whispered prayer has gone unheard. He hears it all. He sees it all. But He also knows what you don't. He knows when you're truly ready. He knows when the other person is ready. And He knows the exact moment your paths are meant to cross. The delay you feel today could be protection. It could be preparation. You might be asking Allah for a relationship right now, but He knows it would only break you in your current state. So He delays it, not to hurt you, but to shape you, to build your strength, your character, your iman. So when that person finally enters your life, you don't just find love, you find peace. Think of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. Betrayed, thrown into a well, sold as a slave, imprisoned for years. From the outside, it looked like delay after delay, hardship after hardship. But in reality, it was all part of Allah's perfect plan to raise him to power at the right time. Not early, not late. Exactly when it was meant to be. That's how Allah works. Maybe you're asking, why not now? But Allah is saying, not yet. Maybe you're saying, I'm ready. But Allah knows you're not fully. Not the way you need to be for what's coming. And maybe you're wondering, why them and not me? But Allah sees what's written for you, and it's something better than what you're comparing yourself to. What's meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. This is the power of Qadr, divine destiny. It's not random, it's not careless, it's written with the ink of mercy and the wisdom of the one who created your heart. So don't lose hope because of timing. Allah is never early, never late. He is always right on time. Your job is not to control the clock, it's to trust the one who holds it. When the time is right, Allah won't just give you what you asked for. He'll give you more. He'll give you something so beautifully timed, you'll fall into sujood in tears. Not because you finally got it, but because you finally understood why you had to wait. How do you know if someone is truly written for you by Allah? In a world full of uncertainty, it's a question that haunts so many hearts. But Allah doesn't leave His signs unclear. He places hints, quiet confirmations, and deep feelings in your heart that you can't explain. Sometimes it's peace. A peace that comes when you think of someone, not butterflies, not obsession, but sukoon. As if your soul whispers, this is safe, this is right. When Allah writes someone for you, your heart doesn't feel rushed, it feels calm. You might meet them unexpectedly, in the most unplanned way. Not through chasing or searching, but through pure coincidence, or what seems like coincidence to you. But with Allah, there are no coincidences, only divine appointments. He places them in your path when you're not even looking, and somehow it just feels aligned. Then there are the recurring signs. Maybe you've tried to forget them, to move on, but your paths keep crossing, again and again, in different ways. Not because you're forcing it, but because fate gently keeps pulling you both back into the same orbit. That repetition isn't random. It could be Allah's way of saying, pay attention. Sometimes your du'as begin to shift. You no longer just ask for a specific person, you start asking for what's best. And in that shift, Allah aligns your heart with someone whose soul matches your prayer. And perhaps the strongest sign of all? You're not being pushed away from Allah. You're being pulled closer. When the right person is written for you, they don't distract you from your faith. They strengthen it. They remind you of your worth. They guide you back to prayer when you're weak. They become a mirror of your iman, not a threat to it. If someone draws you closer to Allah, gives you peace without chaos, and enters your life without force, don't ignore it. Allah doesn't need noise to make His signs clear. Sometimes His loudest messages come in the form of quiet reassurance. But remember this too. Sometimes someone can feel right, but still not be the one. Because feelings are powerful, but they're not always truth. And just because you felt something doesn't mean it was meant to last forever. It could be a test, or a temporary stop on the way to what's truly yours. So if you're seeing signs, seek clarity through istikhara. Trust the process, not just the emotions. And ask Allah, if this is good for my deen, my heart, and my future, make it easy. If not, remove it with peace. Because what's truly written for you won't confuse you, won't harm you, and won't require you to beg. It will feel right in your soul. It will lead you toward Allah, not away. And when the time is right, it will stay. Nobody likes to wait. Waiting feels like being left behind. It feels like you're standing still while everyone else is moving forward, getting married, starting families, building futures, while you're stuck wondering when your time will come. But what if the wait you hate is actually the mercy you need? You see, when Allah makes you wait, it's never to break you. It's to build you. It's to shape your heart into the version that's ready to receive what you've been asking for. Because the truth is, what you're waiting for might already exist, but you aren't ready for it yet. If Allah gave it to you right now, you might not value it. You might mishandle it. You might even lose it. So He delays, not to punish, but to protect. He pauses, not to deny, but to prepare. Because some blessings can feel like burdens if they come too soon. Think of a seed. It's planted deep in the dark soil. It doesn't see the sun. It doesn't feel the breeze. For a while, it just waits. But under that soil, transformation is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. And when it finally breaks through the ground, it's ready to face the world. That's what your wait is doing, building unseen strength inside of you. Allah knows what you'll face in your future relationship. The trials, the responsibilities, the sacrifices. And He wants to equip you with the emotional and spiritual tools to handle it. So right now, He's teaching you patience, sabar, resilience. He's growing your iman. He's protecting your heart from attaching to the wrong people and preparing it to recognize the right one when they arrive. And sometimes, the wait isn't just for you, it's for them too. Maybe the person written for you is still healing, still growing, still finding their way back to Allah. If He gave them to you now, the timing wouldn't align. The blessing would be premature. So Allah withholds it, not because it's not yours, but because He wants it to arrive complete. And in that process, He gives you something even more beautiful than a relationship. He gives you Himself. Because in the waiting, you pray more, you cry more, you talk to Allah in ways you never did before. You start seeking His signs, His comfort, His guidance. And unknowingly, you build a relationship with Him that becomes the strongest foundation for any love that's to come. That closeness to Allah, that depth in dua, that strength in solitude, that is the blessing. That is the gift. Because people may leave, feelings may change, but Allah remains. And once you find Him in the wait, you'll never walk alone again, even after the blessing arrives. So don't see this period as empty time. It's not a gap. It's not a punishment. It's a divine classroom. Every day you wait, Allah is writing something. Not just your future, but your growth. When the blessing finally comes, you won't just say, finally. You'll say, Subhanallah. Now I understand why I had to wait. Because only Allah knows the perfect time. And when it arrives, you'll realize it was worth every second. Waiting isn't just about patience. It's about transformation, about who you become during the silence, during the delay, and during the moments where nothing seems to be changing. You can spend that time in frustration, questioning, and sadness. Or you can turn it into a season of growth, healing, and preparation. Start by deepening your connection with Allah. Because the truth is, no one can fill your heart the way He can. Before you're ready to love someone else, you need to be deeply rooted in the love of your Creator. Use these days to strengthen your prayers. Talk to Allah openly and find comfort in His words. The more connected you are to Him, the clearer your vision will be when the right person enters your life. Then, pour your emotions into your du'as. Make sincere, heartfelt supplications, not just for a spouse, but for the one who will be best for your deen, your peace, and your future. Ask for clarity, ask for contentment, and most of all, ask Allah to remove what is not written for you in a way that doesn't break you. That kind of dua changes everything. It teaches you to trust, even when you don't understand. Healing is another part of this journey. So many people pray for love while still carrying the pain of the past. Don't ignore your wounds. Acknowledge them. Sit with them. Then slowly let them go. Your future spouse deserves your healed heart, not your broken pieces. And you deserve peace more than you deserve to stay attached to old memories. Let this time be your recovery. While you wait, focus on becoming the kind of person you hope to meet. Are you kind, patient, humble, loyal? The love you're praying for will flourish through the character you're building now. And if you become the person you're meant to be, you won't just attract the right soul, you'll be able to sustain love with sincerity, faith, and maturity. And don't forget to live. This wait is not a pause on your life. It's a divine chapter filled with purpose. Set goals, nurture your talents, travel, learn, grow, spend time with family, serve others, and enjoy the blessings you already have. Love will not complete you. Only Allah does that. But the right love will complement the life you've already built with faith and intention. You may feel like you're in a holding pattern, but you're actually in the hands of the one who writes perfect timing. This is not wasted time, it's sacred time. Every prayer, every tear, every quiet night matters. And when your soul is ready, when your heart is steady, and when the path is aligned, what's written for you will arrive. Not a moment too soon, not a second too late, but right on time, with wisdom, with peace, and with a story that only Allah could have written. She never expected her life to change at a train station. Sarah was 28. She had watched friends get married, start families, post pictures of perfect lives, while she silently waited. Every proposal her family brought felt forced or wrong. She prayed, cried, and wondered if Allah had forgotten her. But deep inside, she kept holding on. Ya Allah, she would whisper at night, write someone for me who brings me closer to you. One rainy afternoon, she missed her regular train. Frustrated, she sat down on a bench. Next to her sat an elderly woman who smiled and said, "Sometimes delays are a blessing." They started talking. Within minutes, the woman mentioned she had a grandson, someone grounded in deen, kind-hearted, and ready for marriage. It sounded too random to be real. But within months, they met. And this time, Sarah felt something different. Not butterflies, but peace. There was no chasing, no confusion, just calm, just clarity. After istikhara and family involvement, they married. Today, she looks back and smiles. Not because the wait was easy, but because it led her to the exact person she was meant to meet. And it happened when she least expected it. Then there's Amir, who thought he had it all figured out. He had a girl in mind. They talked about marriage. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. She left suddenly. He was heartbroken and angry with Allah. But slowly, through prayer and reflection, he began to heal. He focused on his career, served his community, and reconnected with his deen. 2 years later, he met someone during a charity event. She was everything he didn't know he needed. Quiet strength, sincerity, and ima'an that humbled him. They connected deeply. Not through forced effort, but through shared values. Today, he says, "I thank Allah for that heartbreak. If he hadn't closed that door, I would have never found the right one." These stories are not fantasy, they're reminders. When you wait with trust, Allah writes something better than what you imagined. And when it comes, it won't confuse you, it will comfort you. Just like that train delay, or that heartbreak. Everything is part of His perfect plan. You've prayed, you've cried, you've waited, and deep inside your heart, you still wonder, Will it ever happen for me? The answer is yes, but in Allah's time, not yours. Because the one who created your heart also created the one it's meant for. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are being prepared. Every delay is not a denial, it's divine protection. Every closed door is not rejection, it's redirection. And every unanswered dua is being saved for the perfect moment. Don't compare your timeline to others. Some flowers bloom in spring, others in autumn. What's written for you will come to you, even if the whole world tries to stop it. And what's not written for you will never stay, even if you beg for it. So instead of chasing what isn't yours, wait for what Allah has already written. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Let your patience be a form of worship. Let your trust be louder than your fear. Because when the moment arrives, when your name meets the one written beside it in the book of Qadr, it will be beautiful, effortless, and filled with barakah. Until then, don't rush, don't settle, just wait. And while you wait, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Because here, we remind you of Allah's plan, His wisdom, and His love for you. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning.